Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about drum fills. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than my usual how-to-sequence videos, because I have already constructed some fills and some patterns on my PO-32 tonic here, and rather than show you guys how to sequence them, we're going to talk about how you can take a very basic concept and just expand on it. Now, the purpose of this video is that I'd like you to be able to come up with your own ideas and expand and riff on those rather than just copy what I've done. That being said, at the end of the video, I am going to include the download sound, the pattern transfer that the PO-32 can do. So if you do want to copy my patterns and sounds onto your unit, you can do so. I'm just using the stock PO-32 drum kit right now, so you won't get anything fancy that way. But I do have, looks like 12-ish patterns loaded up that you can get your hands on if you'd like. But before we do that, I would like to take the time to shout out one of my patrons. Today's patron is Jason H. Jason, thank you so much for keeping the channel going. If you'd like to support the channel, just head over to patreon.com/freebeat. All right, let's begin. So there's this kind of, not mysticism, but I don't know, this kind of like vibe around drum fills that they need to be like really crazy, and to come up with a good and unique drum fill is, really a difficult process, and you should slave away at it for a while. And while it can be, it doesn't need to be. So if you're struggling to write drum fills, this video is going to be a good one for you. So the way I like to take drum fills is I will just come up with some random thing at the end of a pattern and then keep riffing on it until I come up with something that I like. So in this case here, I've got a very basic drum pattern. And here comes the fill. Just like that, just do-do-do at the end of the pattern. We can look at it here. It's this tom here, just pitch, do-do-do, just 3 notes at the end there. Let's listen to it again. It's as simple as 3/8 notes or 16ths, depending on how you're counting that pattern, but very, very simple, just 3 notes at the end of the pattern going down a tom. That did not take really too much mental effort to come up with. The pattern itself is a little more complicated, but the fill is not. So now we can take those 3 notes and play with them and mess with them and turn them into something a little more rhythmically interesting. So let's switch to the next pattern here. Let's listen to this one. It's very, very simple, but all we did is take the middle note and double it, which if you're on a pocket operator, you do that by turning write mode on, holding the step, and then tapping BPM, and it'll show you 2 times, 3 times, 4, 6, and 8. This time, I'm just doing it twice. Just like that. And now, we've taken that original fill, and we've created a variation of it. More of an evolution, actually, I'd call it. Let's go to the next one. So this one is the exact inverse of the previous one. On the previous one, we had this step here and this step here as a single hit, and this step doubled. On this fill, we've got this step here doubled, this one as a single hit, and this one doubled. So we're building variations of our original pattern using really basic rhythmic concepts, but just expanding and constantly trying to come up with something new based on that original concept. Let's go to the next one. A little different this time. This time, the last 2 steps of our fill are single hits, but this first one is a triple hit rather than a double. It sounds almost identical to this one, our original fill. But all we've done is taken that first tom and tripled it. Just like that. Let's move on. Now this one sounds complicated, but it still stems from that original fill, that doom doom doom. All we've done is we've quadrupled this one right here, tripled this one, and then doubled this one. You can still hear that original fill in there. And that's what's very important as you're building a song. Because as a song progresses, typically you want the fills to become more and more complex. So you can start with that original fill, the doom doom doom. And then as the song moves on, we can kind of rhythmically play with that like we've been doing and like I've shown you in these pattern evolutions here, fill evolutions. And we can start building to something. And the audience can kind of feel, oh, the drums are getting a little more complicated each time this fill comes back. So say this is at the end of a verse or a chorus, you know, we can signify that the song is continuing to move on towards the final point that we'd like our listener to be at. And the drums really help drive that home. Because if a fill is slightly different each time, the listener doesn't directly notice, but it contributes to the overall feel of a song, which is a very tangible thing. The listener will be like, you know, I feel something is changing, I know it's changing, but I can't exactly figure out why. So the fills definitely help with that. Let's move on to the next one here. So this one, all we've done is we've removed the middle note. A huge change for the listener, but not a lot of change on our end, not a lot of work. We just removed one note. So not only can we change our fill up by doubling, tripling, quadrupling notes, you know, putting like ratcheting hits on them as they go down, but we can also change them up by removing notes, especially if you have a little run of 3 like we originally did. Let's listen to this next one. Almost the same as the previous fill. This last one is just doubled. This is almost begging for a bass drop or scoop into the next part of the song in this open step. Like that, right there. Something like that. Oh, that would be very, very cool in here with that almost awkward space. But of course, the drums do pick it back up with that little double hit there on the last step of the pattern. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Again, we're building on that original concept of removing the middle part of our fill. Both steps are now doubled. I'm letting some of these play out longer because I want you guys to still be able to feel that doom 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 from the original fill. And although that middle note is missing, on this one it's implied almost more than on any of the other patterns because each step is doubled. Let's move to the next one. So this one here is kind of your grand finale of the song, if that makes sense. It's quadruple hits on all 3 of those steps from our original fill. So this is definitely, you know, going into the outro of the song. You've built everything up to its maximum intensity. You know, everything's playing at true forte, and you're just, you know, you're firing on all cylinders here. This is your big payoff fill for the listener. You know, they get the huge crescendo down the toms, moving into the end of the song. And these are the fills that are the most fun to make, but you got to be careful not to overuse them. And again, the reason this fill works is because it's referencing that original fill. So I hope you guys followed me on this. I tried not to go too fast, but I did have a lot of patterns to get through. I just want you guys to grasp that concept that you can start with something so simple and just turn it into whatever you want. With very, very small changes over the course of a song, you can get all of your fill ideas from something you did very, very early on, like in my case, these 3 notes right here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was kind of an interesting concept for me to try to put to words. I kind of slaved over a script for a little bit and then decided to scrap it just to kind of speak from the heart. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this one. So now, like I promised, I'm going to give you guys the chance to download all 12 of those patterns onto your PO-32. So if you have yours ready, I'll go ahead and play the sound here. If you want to get yours into receive mode, just press accent and sound at the same time. It's going to make some crazy noises, and I'm going to get this transfer going. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, and there we go. If done properly, you should now have the drum kit that I've got loaded up, which, as I said, is just the stock one. But more importantly, you should have all 12 of those fills that we just went over on your unit. You can listen to those and see how they interact for yourself, and you can kind of play with them and turn them into your own thing if you'd like. Or you can listen to them for a bit, get a handle on it, then wipe them and start from scratch. That's what I would recommend doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on it. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.